RCN Technologies will be presenting this. It'll be basically today, innovations and opportunities for 5G when it comes to the retail market, the retail vertical. What we're doing today is we're going to look at the 5G network, kind of get a high-level overview to start off with. And then we want to really dig into some of the common retail issues that face retail today, how 5G solutions and some of those gains will be realized. What can you do as a owner of retail? And then we'll end it with questions and answers. So today hosting is myself, Gary Manish. I'm the Director of Sales here at RCN Technologies. Along with me is Cameron Scott, who is a Regional Account Manager here at RCN and is part of our 5G Council, one of our subject matter experts. So between he and myself, we'll be presenting through these different opportunities, solutions, things that should impact retail as far as 5G is concerned. But if we start with kind of a high-level overview of 5G networks, if you think about 5G today, it's best to look at it as a layer of cake. You'll have three basic areas. So if you think of a cake in three layers, you've got the low band deployment, which is happening today. So in that 600 to 900 megahertz with speeds anywhere from 30 to 250 megabytes per second, that's what we're seeing today being rolled out by most of the carriers, most of the major carriers today. As we continue into probably 2021, Q1 of 2021, you're going to start seeing deployment into that mid band. And then probably mid-year to late, we'll see some high band deployment, or what you'll start hearing as millimeter wave. So in 2021, we're going to see a lot of the low band, 600 to 900, and then this 2.5 to 6 gigahertz band frequencies being deployed with all the major carriers. And then as we get into the back half of 2021, more of the millimeter wave type bands will start being launched. So let's talk about the glossary of key terms that you're going to hear when it comes to 5G. Capacity, bandwidth, latency, multi-access edge compute or computing, MEC. So if we start with capacity, it's the number of clients' devices that can currently connect to a tower. One of the advantages of 5G is its expanded capacity and being able to increase that number of clients, those devices that can connect to a tower. So that's going to be one of the advantages that will bring 5G. Bandwidth. How much data can be sent and received through a cellular connection? If you think about the evolution of how the wireless technology has evolved, you think about speed and how many different things that you could utilize on your cell phone. 4G basically provided us video, so the bandwidth to use video. With 5G, now you're going to be able to have just streaming video, streaming security, just an expanded amount of bandwidth that we'll be able to utilize in all the different applications, autonomous driving, autonomous delivery, things like that will be prevalent because of this bandwidth. And then the other connection part of that is latency, the amount of time it takes for data to send and receive. So if you think about autonomous driving solutions and autonomous delivery solutions, think about all the different demands and commands that have to be received and sent for those types of services to be able to work efficiently, effectively, and without any issues. So with 5G, it really increases capacity, the bandwidth, and latency. And the last big piece of this is the edge computing. We always hear about edge computing in traditional IT. Well, now with 5G, you're going to see that move into the wireless space as well. That compute process closer to the end user application, and also away from the distant cloud. You know, if you look at the evolution of how these types of solutions have gone from a centralized data center to a cloud-based data center. We're now going to be able to see it go even closer to the user and really get right out to the edge. And 5G allows us to do that. So from capacity, bandwidth, latency, and multi-access edge, it's moving that out further.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. What we're going to review today further on is some issues that retail industry commonly runs into. They face what we've comprised about 5 challenges that we've seen throughout 4G that 5G will definitely be able to improve on. Some challenges that we're seeing today are some costs and reliability issues with ISP, whether there is outages, natural disasters that take out your internet. With 5G, you're going to see a drastic change in how businesses connect through their wireless providers. Today, we've seen a lot of businesses adapt to internet as failover over 4G. With 5G, we'll start to see people running their businesses on primary as 5G, which is kind of crazy to think about. As data plans and as new providers start to deploy their 5G networks, you'll start to see wireless routers that will be able to handle and support the speeds over cellular that you'd basically see today on your primary ISP. So this will be a definite key change you'll start to see as 5G is more widely deployed.
So a couple of things to take note here. Think about the carriers and their ability to put together fixed wireless plans. And we've always talked about in the industry about cutting the cord. Well, now with the bandwidth, the latency, all those things being addressed in this new technology coming out in 5G, we're really able to, from a cost standpoint, really compete very nicely with the traditional ISPs without some of the additional costs that fiber has created. One of the things about fiber, its reliability is usually pretty high. When it comes to broadband, its reliability tends to be a little bit less effective. So now what you have is now the ability with these 5G routers, multi-carrier, fixed wireless, you now have redundancy built in from a system that has redundancy throughout. If you think about where the wireless industry has gone over the last 10 years, they've created these massive backhaul and networks that really have allowed for all kinds of redundancy. You now got 3 or 4 towers to choose from automatically from a frequency standpoint and also from just an RF standpoint. And so that reliability goes up when you get into 5G. Your costs are going to be fixed because now we get into these fixed wireless plans that allow you to be able to compete nicely with some of these traditional fiber. Cameron, let's talk a little bit about inventory management.
Yeah, so with 5G, you'll definitely be able to see changes in inventory management. And what we mean by that is with the future of connectivity, you'll start to see more IoT sensors that are going to be able to you'll be able to deploy throughout retail chains, whether they're shelving that it has smart sensors in it, so that whenever a customer picks up a unit off of the shelf, it'll instantly be able to notify inventory that they may need to be restocking that shelf soon. In the back end, you'll start to see robots in warehouses being able to have smart capabilities that will be able to move one. Sorry, Gary, I'm missing my notes.
Okay. On inventory management, some of the challenges today that get addressed. So you think about everyone is trying to move to just-in-time delivery services. So on the just-in-time delivery today, there is a lag. And so, you may know that you're running out of things by your normal inventory management, but what we're looking at today from a challenge standpoint is to be able to increase that just-in-time to anticipatory inventory management through AI, through a lot of different things that that will work together within an environment. If you think about some of the solutions that you see out today, so part of the challenges that we're looking at to address is really anticipating the just-in-time delivery and inventory as it is. Security and compliance has always been a challenge. You hear almost every day about some type of breach, some type of phishing attack, some type of ransomware that goes on. 5G, with its ability to, in a distributed network environment, will be able to really take down some of those security risks, and also be able to increase the compliance part of a business. If you think about certain retail business, whether it's quick serve restaurants, traditional restaurants, compliance is always a part of their challenge. And so the ability to run many different sensors simultaneously in an IoT environment over a 5G network, compliance becomes automated. And so those are some of the things that you're going to see, is this huge automation that comes out with 5G. And then let's talk a little bit about the customer experience, the challenges. The customer experience today is one that is typically can go up and down depending on your technology, to be honest with you. And so having a very reliable network, having a fast network that's also reliable, will be able to increase your customer experience and that ability to satisfy your customers in any type of environment. You think about today when you walk in and a place can only take cash because their ISP is down. Well, that's impacting their customer experience. With the reliability, the speed, the capacity, some of those things get adjusted. And then the biggest question about 5G today is, when do I update my technology? When do I start taking advantage of that? So these are some of the challenges that we see in retail today when it's related to the technology. There are other challenges facing retail today we get, but from a technology standpoint, these are some of the biggest concerns when it comes to your challenges. So when you're moving from 4G to 5G, when you're going from what 4G really brought us was mobile broadband video. It allowed us some speeds that allow certain technologies to come together. You think about Uber, you think about some of those car services and the ability to know where your driver is, and the ability to know where to pick, how many different drivers you have. Well, 4G provided that type of capability. Now with 5G, what you're looking at is not only knowing where your driver is, but be able to communicate with them in real time, and potentially have an autonomous car come pick you up and take you to your destination. And so that's what 5G does. So if you think about real today applications of the difference between what we get today in Uber and what we can get with 5G, that's just a simple example. But here's the thing about 5G. Its impact will be more felt on businesses than actual consumers. If you think about the evolution of the technology, 2G was basically voice and text. 3G gave us the first data capabilities. 4G gave us broadband video. 5G is going to be able to take all those different things, voice, text, data, and make it faster and broader for businesses. Up until now, mostly consumers have been the beneficiary of this new technology. 5G is going to allow businesses to be the beneficiary, and in return, consumers will ultimately benefit as well. So let's talk about ISP and cost. We talked a little bit about this. Cameron touched a little bit of this. 5G is more reliable. Again, distributed network, the ability to cross-carrier pull your services with a fixed wireless plans, being able to get faster, more dense coverage in certain areas because of how these different technologies work and how RF works, being able to penetrate through walls and be able to have that reliable wireless service along with some reliable 5G hardware. It's going to give you that ability to really cut that cord, get that fiber cost down, eliminate that fiber cost, get that ISP out where you're not relying on broadband. So that's one of the things that we're going to see from a retail standpoint, is being able to really rely on immediate coverage from all the carriers providing 5G, and having that distributed network, those different cellular towers all over, along with their backhaul, to be able to rely on that and have a much faster, reliable network. Again, real-time management. We talked about just-in-time delivery. The next piece of this through AI is anticipatory. Knowing that when you're actually going to run out of material or run out of product before you do, based on a lot of different algorithms, but being able to send that information to your supplier, so you'll not only you have just-in-time inventory, you don't have empty shelves, smart shelving. It'll allow you to, again, understand what's moving. Where do you need to move things in a store? The old way of doing retail planning in planograms will now be basically a software program anticipating what sells, where do you need to put certain items to make them move faster. And so having that all in real-time management and real-time data is going to make retail that much more efficient, lower their cost, and really increase their inventory terms. Part of this also is effective logistics, or efficient logistics. We've seen Amazon, we've seen other retail toy with the idea of autonomous delivery. When you get into this network of mesh networks of 5G, that capability increases, and as that increases, the cost of that comes down, and the ability for traditional retail, mixed retail between e-commerce and brick and mortar, these delivery networks, these delivery systems will lower in cost and be able to be a lot more efficient. Security and compliance, again, having that distributed network, having someone from a wireless carrier standpoint, it's very challenging for different hackers to get into the networks today. So being able to rely on 5G, it's encryption, the hardware that comes with that has built-in VPNs and different types of capability. 5G is really going to make that wireless connection much more secure. We talk about digital trust. We're seeing more and more people use their mobile device to make payments. We're seeing more and more transactions go frictionless, meaning that you can walk into a location through your app that you already have loaded on your phone, through the technology of 5G that's in the retail location today, pick up an item, walk out, it charges your bank account automatically. And again, it's that frictionless digital trust of a secure network, and the ability of these different RFs really will increase the battery usage of IoT sensors. So being able to not only do these transactions, understand your inventory, control shrinkage, being able to increase your in-store security as well. So if you think about what 5G is going to be enabled, we're getting much, much closer to having a full frictionless shopping experience, meaning you can walk in, pick out what you want, walk out, it charges to your account. and you are ready to go.
Yeah, I think for me, as you were mentioning, you'll start to see these devices that are connected completely on their own off of any internal network, all solely off of cellular with gigabit speeds. But you'll be able to see augmented reality type devices more so in retail storefronts where people can virtually try on clothing in front of a smart mirror and all that stuff. And maybe it's not on the shelf, and they can instantly add it to their account in their cart, all from a touch screen inside the store. A lot of different experiences can be given to the consumer with these technologies implemented in retail stores. It's pretty cool to think about.
So what can you do today? What to expect? What's the network prep, and what's the next steps? So what is 5G coming? Well, we mentioned earlier, low and mid bands, they're becoming more available today. The low bands are available today. Mid bands are starting to deploy as well. So most of the major carriers, the 3 carriers today, they provide some type of nationwide 5G coverage in the low to mid bands today. High band rollout, the millimeter wave, things like that, specific applications is what we'll see drive that. Certain enterprises like manufacturing, transportation, high-end computing. Those will start off with the high band rollout opportunities. And then as cities and venues that are more dense, such as football stadiums, baseball stadiums, municipalities, Chicago, New York, more high density cities, you'll see more of that high band rollout. And then local areas and infrastructure is going to be a little bit different when it comes to that high band rollout.
What's interesting about the low and mid band available today is that people are seeing upwards of 200 to 300, 400 megabits per second over cellular, which is crazy to think about. I mean, not even 6 months ago, our best speeds I was seeing was maybe 100. So to see that it's improving that drastically is very cool to see. Like you said, the high band is when you're going to start getting into gigabit level speeds, and as that gets rolled out in rural areas and eventually suburban areas, you're going to see a lot of changes to how people operate with their technology.
Nice. All right, so RCN is going to continue the 5G webinar series. We'll get more in-depth information as we go. We'll get a little bit deeper into these subjects. We'll start covering some very specific topics, things like 5G in fleet or 5G industrial, how the 5G network is going to evolve, things like that coming up. So look for new and more information on our webinar series. News and articles. We'll do some curated content to help supplement what we do on the webinar, maybe some use cases and things to look for as 5G continues to roll. And through our social accounts, we'll have announcements and some information that will come out that'll be a little bit more high-end informative, not real deep, but give you some announcements of things that are forthcoming, whether it's a new hardware release that's 5G initiated, or whether it's plans that are being released by the carriers, certain applications that are going to be enabled because of 5G. So those are ways today to learn more and more about 5G. And then obviously you can go to your RCN account manager, basically schedule some time with the RCN team to get into some realistic pathways to 5G. We have some solutions today that are gigabit speed solutions that will get you started. If you think about where failover is today and where primary through some of the fixed wireless plans that are being released today, and your ability to take advantage of some of the solutions that we have today and have this pathway, this evolution pathway to get to 5G, we can help you with that. or you can make infrastructure investments today. We do have products today that'll be 5G enabled, 5G ready. The roadmap for 5G starting in Q1 will continue to grow. But there are solutions available today. And as we go through Q1 and all through 2021, we're seeing all the OEMs with their roadmaps starting to develop solutions that hit certain applications, whether it's fixed wireless, whether it's fleet, mobility. It really depends on what you're looking to go solve. Digital signage, higher end security, all these different applications that the combination between the hardware, the OEM that's coming out, and the network capacity through 5G rollout is going to enable. It's going to be interesting to watch, and really we can help you walk through all those different scenarios. One thing about RCN, we are your technology ally. We do expect more from our customers to expect more from us, from our partners to expect more from us as well. We will help you simplify the technology choices for your company, regardless of your size, whether you're a 1 or 2 person shop up to a huge enterprise. We have that experience, we have that capability, and we have the ability to come in and take a look at what you're trying to solve, or just guide you through the process. What does 4G solutions look like today? What will 5G look like tomorrow? How can I evolve into that, take advantage, and how can we take a look at what your infrastructure, what your needs, what you're trying to accomplish, how we can help you do that. Okay, so we will conclude today's webinar on 5G retail business. I want to thank everyone for their for listening in, for participating, understanding that when we go through these type of webinars, our objective is to be somewhat informative, somewhat creative, and really get you thinking about how you can think differently about how 5G really can impact your business, whether it's retail, again, any other industry from there. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your business. We look forward to working and talking with everyone out there. And please reach out to us, and we'll be there to help walk you through the whole 5G experience. Once again, from RCN Technologies, always expect more. Thank you so much.